Hey guys, tonight we're stepping back, way back, to a time when the air in ancient Egypt wasn't just thick with sand and the scent of the Nile, but perhaps also with a pungent, familiar aroma. Imagine, if you will, the gentle flickering of an oil lamp, casting long, dancing shadows across a mud brick wall. You're lying on a reed mat, the sounds of the desert night filtering through an open doorway, a distant jackal, the rustle of papyrus. But as you drift toward sleep, a quiet unease settles in. Because in this world, sleep isn't just rest, it's a journey into a realm where shadowy figures might lurk, where unsettling visions can plague your slumber. And what's your first line of defense against these nocturnal intruders, these unwelcome guests of the dreamscape? A simple, bulbous, pungent little plant, garlic. Oh, you probably won't survive this, but don't worry, the worst that can happen is you fall asleep. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're in ancient Egypt, a land where the sun beats down relentlessly, and the rhythms of life are dictated by the annual flooding of the Nile. But as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery hues of orange and purple, a different world begins to emerge. It's a world of shadows, of whispers, and of beliefs that intertwine the mundane with the mystical. And right there, nestled within the daily life of every Egyptian, from the humble farmer to the grand pharaoh, is garlic. You see it everywhere, hanging in braids in kitchens, bundled for sale in bustling markets, even depicted in hieroglyphs. It's more than just a seasoning for your stew, though it certainly makes a hearty addition to your lentil soup after a long day tilling the fields. No, in this ancient land, garlic holds a power far greater than mere flavor. It's a protector, a ward, a silent guardian against the unseen terrors of the night. Think about the sheer ubiquity of garlic. You might be chewing on a raw clove to ward off a cold, feeling its sharp bite on your tongue, or perhaps you're watching a priest offer it as part of a ritual. Its presence is so deeply ingrained that you almost take it for granted, like the sands under your bare feet or the warm breeze on your face. Yet, you also understand its profound significance. You've heard the stories, passed down through generations, of its potency. Children are told tales of how it drives away evil spirits, and even the sternest adults carry a quiet reverence for its power. The earliest records of garlic's use in Egypt stretch back millennia, long before the pyramids of Giza pierced the sky. You could trace its lineage back to the pre-dynastic period, where archaeological finds reveal its presence in ancient settlements. Imagine the very first Egyptians, living along the fertile banks of the Nile, discovering this unassuming plant. They quickly realized its culinary benefits, no doubt, but then, perhaps through observation or simple trial and error, they began to associate its potent aroma and distinct properties with something more. It was a plant that seemed to possess an inner fire, a strength that repelled what was weak or unwanted. You might see an artisan, carefully crafting a small amulet, and then, almost as an afterthought, tucking a dried clove of garlic into a pouch nearby. It's not just a foodstuff, it's a symbol, a miniature shield against the encroaching darkness. This dual role, as both sustenance and spiritual protector, is what makes garlic so fascinating in the ancient Egyptian context. It bridges the gap between the physical and the metaphysical, a tangible anchor in a world brimming with unseen forces. Consider the practicalities of ancient life. Hygiene, as you understand it today, was a very different concept. Diseases were rampant, and their causes were often attributed to malevolent spirits or divine displeasure. If you suffered from a persistent cough or a festering wound, it wasn't just a physical ailment, it could be a spiritual attack. And here, garlic stepped in. You'd likely be advised to consume it, or perhaps to crush it and apply it as a poultice. The belief wasn't merely in its physical healing properties, which were undoubtedly observed, but also in its ability to drive away the unseen entities believed to be causing the illness. This established a precedent for its use against other unseen threats, including those that assailed you in your sleep. Historians still argue whether the initial use of garlic was purely pragmatic, based on observed effects, or if a mystical reverence developed almost simultaneously. Was it simply effective against parasites, and then the association with driving away extended to demons? Or was its strong scent and distinct character immediately interpreted as a sign of spiritual power? You ponder this as you watch a priest meticulously preparing offerings, a string of garlic bulbs among them. It's a profound question, one that speaks to the very origins of human belief systems. The very air around you, when you're near a market stall selling garlic, seems to hum with a certain energy. It's an unmistakable, pungent scent that follows you, clinging to your clothes, to your hands. And this very pungency, this strength of aroma, was seen as a key aspect of its protective power. Imagine you're trying to sleep, and the air around you is thick with the scent of garlic. It creates a boundary, a kind of invisible wall that malevolent entities, with their delicate ethereal sensibilities, would simply find unbearable. It's a simple, yet profoundly effective concept in a world where unseen threats were as real as the sand beneath your feet. You might even find yourself subconsciously breathing a little easier, a sense of security washing over you as the familiar scent envelops your sleeping space. It's a subtle form of ancient aromatherapy, designed not for relaxation, but for vigorous defense against the unseen. You wake up, the sun just beginning to peek over the horizon, casting a golden glow across your room. The scent of last night's garlic still lingers faintly in the air, a subtle reminder of the protective measures you took before drifting off. But garlic, in ancient Egypt, wasn't just about warding off nightmares. It was a cornerstone of your health, a multi-purpose remedy for a wide array of ailments. You see it being used in ways that might surprise you, its applications stretching far beyond the culinary. Consider, for a moment, the challenges of ancient Egyptian life. The climate is harsh, the environment teeming with potential dangers, both seen and unseen. Disease is a constant threat, and your understanding of its causes is limited. You attribute illness not just to physical factors, but also to imbalances in your body, to the influence of spirits, and even to the wrath of the gods. And in this context, garlic emerges as a powerful ally, a natural pharmacy contained within a single bulb. You might witness a healer, carefully preparing a concoction, crushing garlic cloves and mixing them with other herbs and oils. This isn't just folk medicine, it's a practice rooted in centuries of observation and experience. You've heard tales of garlic being used to treat everything from digestive problems to skin infections. Perhaps you've even applied a garlic poultice to a wound yourself, feeling the initial sting followed by a sense of soothing relief. It's a testament to the resourcefulness of your ancestors, their ability to harness the power of nature to combat the challenges of their world. The Ebers Papyrus, one of the oldest and most comprehensive medical texts from ancient Egypt, is a testament to this understanding. If you could read its intricate hieroglyphs, you'd find numerous remedies that incorporate garlic. It's prescribed for everything from headaches to circulatory issues. Imagine you're a scribe, carefully copying down these recipes, knowing that they represent the accumulated wisdom of generations. It's a powerful feeling to be part of this tradition, to contribute to the collective knowledge that keeps your community healthy. You might see workers, toiling under the scorching sun as they build the Great Pyramids, being given rations of garlic. The belief is that it will provide them with strength and stamina, protecting them from exhaustion and illness. It's a practical measure, born from the understanding that garlic can help them endure the grueling conditions. You can almost taste the sharp, invigorating flavor as you watch them, knowing that it's fueling their efforts, helping them to create these monumental structures that will stand for millennia. The association of garlic with strength and vitality extends beyond the purely physical. It's also seen as a way to ward off negative energies, to maintain a balance between your inner self and the external world. You might wear a small clove of garlic around your neck, a subtle amulet against unseen forces. It's a quiet act of faith, a way to feel protected in a world where the boundaries between the real and the supernatural are often blurred. You might hear stories, whispered in hushed tones, about garlic's ability to repel venomous creatures. Scorpions and snakes are a real threat in this environment, and the belief is that the strong scent of garlic can deter them. It's a comforting thought as you walk through the desert at night, the pungent aroma creating an invisible barrier between you and the dangers that lurk in the shadows. Historians still debate the extent to which these beliefs were based on empirical observation versus purely mystical associations. Did the ancient Egyptians understand the antibacterial properties of garlic, or was their faith solely rooted in its potent smell and perceived magical qualities? You ponder this as you watch a priest, carefully preparing offerings, a string of garlic bulbs among them. It's a question that delves into the very nature of human understanding, the way we blend practical knowledge with spiritual beliefs to navigate the world around us. The use of garlic in ancient Egypt offers a fascinating glimpse into a world where the lines between medicine, magic, and religion were often indistinct. You see it as a symbol of resilience, a testament to the human spirit's ability to find solutions, both practical and mystical, to the challenges of existence. It's a reminder that even the simplest of things, a humble bulb of garlic, can hold profound significance, reflecting the complex interplay of beliefs and practices that shaped ancient Egyptian life. As the sun dips below the horizon once more, and the desert air begins to cool, you settle down for the night. But your mind isn't just focused on the day's toil, it's also contemplating the journey you're about to embark on, the journey into the dreamscape. For you, an ancient Egyptian, dreams are far more than random nocturnal ramblings. They are profound, often prophetic, and sometimes perilous. You believe that during sleep, your Ba, one of your soul components, is free to roam, to interact with the gods, or to encounter the spirits of the deceased. Imagine the feeling of drifting off, knowing that your consciousness is about to venture into a realm that mirrors and yet transcends your waking world. You might prepare yourself, perhaps by reciting a small prayer to Thoth, the god of wisdom and writing, who is often associated with dreams and their interpretation. The very act of dreaming is a sacred one, a direct line to the divine or, sometimes, a dangerous confrontation with malevolent forces. You've heard countless stories around the communal fire, tales of vivid dreams that foretold the flooding of the Nile, or warned of impending danger, or even offered solutions to perplexing problems. You might even remember a dream of your own, so strikingly clear that it felt more real than your waking hours, leaving you with a lingering sense of awe or dread. These aren't just fleeting images, they are messages, symbols that require careful deciphering. Dream interpreters, known as masters of the secret things, hold a respected position in your society. If you experienced a particularly vivid or disturbing dream, you would seek their counsel. They would consult ancient texts, compilations of dream symbols and their meanings, to help you understand the message being conveyed. It's a complex system, a language of the subconscious that requires specialized knowledge to unlock. For example, dreaming of a crocodile could signify danger, but its specific actions within the dream would drastically alter its meaning. You understand that dreams can be a source of divine revelation. Pharaohs, in particular, would pay close attention to their dreams, believing them to be direct communications from the gods, guiding their rule and informing their decisions. The Dream Papyrus, a fascinating document from the New Kingdom, categorizes dreams as either good or bad and provides interpretations for each. You might secretly wish for a good dream, one that promises prosperity or a bountiful harvest, rather than a bad one that might foreshadow misfortune or illness. The concept of your Ka, another soul component, also plays a role here. While your Ba travels, your Ka remains with your body, a vital life force. The vulnerability of your sleeping body, with your Ba wandering, makes it a prime target for unwelcome entities. This is where the need for protection becomes paramount, and where practices like placing garlic nearby gain even greater significance. You might feel a slight prickle of unease as you consider the unprotected state of your physical form during sleep. Historians still argue whether the elaborate dream interpretation system was primarily a religious practice or a form of early psychology aimed at addressing personal anxieties. Was it truly about divine messages, or was it a way for people to process their daily lives and fears in a structured manner? You might lean towards the former, given the pervasive religious beliefs in your society, but you also recognize the very human need to make sense of the unknown. The very atmosphere in ancient Egypt, especially at night, encourages such beliefs. The vast, silent desert stretching out beyond your village, the myriad stars overhead, and the mysterious depths of the Nile all contribute to a sense of a world teeming with hidden powers. Dreams are simply another manifestation of this rich, unseen reality. And so, as you close your eyes, you are not just entering sleep, you are stepping into a profound and meaningful dimension of your existence, a dimension where the boundaries of reality often blur, and where a small bulb of garlic might just be your most reliable companion. You're deep in the embrace of sleep, your Ba wandering, perhaps communing with ancestors or observing the daily life of the gods. But then, the serene tableau shatters. A chilling sensation washes over you, a sense of dread that seeps into your very bones. The imagery shifts, becomes distorted, malevolent. You are trapped, unable to move, as shadowy figures writhe at the periphery of your vision, their forms indistinct yet undeniably menacing. This, you realize with a jolt of terror, is a nightmare. And for you, an ancient Egyptian, a nightmare is far more than just a bad dream. It's a tangible assault, a direct manifestation of malevolent forces or divine displeasure. Imagine the terror of such an experience. Your heart pounds, your breath catches in your throat. You try to scream, but no sound escapes. The dream world, usually a place of wonder or prophecy, has twisted into a landscape of fear. You might see grotesque creatures with animal heads and human limbs, or encounter the restless spirits of the unburied dead, their eyes hollow and accusing. These aren't just figments of your imagination, they are perceived as real entities, actively seeking to inflict harm or to sow discord in your life. The ancient Egyptians had a profound understanding of the dual nature of the universe: order, Ma-et, and chaos, Isfet. Good dreams were seen as reflections of Ma, divine blessings, or prophetic guidance. Nightmares, however, were unequivocally manifestations of Isfet, intrusions of chaos into your peaceful slumber. They were believed to be sent by angry deities, by vengeful spirits, or by demonic entities specifically targeting the vulnerable sleeping soul. You've heard the stories whispered in the marketplace, tales of individuals tormented by recurring nightmares, their waking lives becoming increasingly burdened by the nocturnal assaults. Perhaps a neighbor complains of being haunted by the same monstrous serpent night after night, waking in a cold sweat, exhausted and fearful. These aren't just anecdotes, they are deeply ingrained realities in your collective consciousness. The fear of demonic possession through dreams is a very real concern. You believe that during a nightmare, a malevolent spirit might attempt to enter your body, to steal your essence, or to sow illness and misfortune. The vulnerability of your sleeping form is amplified by the perceived open doorway of the dream world. This is why protective measures are so crucial, why you take the time to safeguard your sleeping space. You might have heard of specific demons associated with nightmares, though their names might vary from region to region or through different periods. These entities are not always grand, powerful gods, but often lesser, more insidious spirits that specialize in tormenting mortals during their sleep. They are cunning, able to exploit your deepest fears, transforming familiar surroundings into terrifying traps. The chilling thought is that they are not merely projections of your mind but external forces actively seeking to harm you. Historians still argue whether the detailed descriptions of nightmare demons were a way to externalize psychological anxieties or if they truly believed in these distinct entities. Was it a form of ancient cognitive therapy, giving a name and form to amorphous fears to better combat them, or was it a literal belief in a pantheon of malevolent dream stalkers? You, living in this time, would likely subscribe to the latter, feeling the very real terror these entities instilled. The desperation to ward off these nocturnal terrors is palpable. You would try anything, employ any known protection, to ensure a peaceful night's rest. The psychological toll of constant nightmares would be immense, eroding your well-being, affecting your ability to function during the day. It's not just about a temporary fright, it's about preserving your mental and physical health, your very sanity, in a world where the boundary between sleep and waking can be dangerously thin. And this deep-seated fear of malevolent dreams is precisely why that pungent little bulb of garlic becomes such a precious and vital commodity in your nightly rituals. It's a small but mighty bulwark against the creeping dread that can steal your peace, transforming your bed into a battleground against unseen forces. You've just endured a particularly vivid nightmare, the lingering tendrils of fear still clutching at your heart. As the first rays of dawn pierce your window, you resolve that tonight will be different. Tonight, you'll bolster your defenses. You're not just relying on garlic, you're part of a society that believes deeply in the power of charms and amulets, tangible objects imbued with protective energies. Your ancient Egyptian world is rich with such items, each designed to ward off misfortune, attract good luck, or provide a shield against unseen threats. Imagine walking through the bustling market. Beyond the stalls overflowing with grains and papyrus, you see artisans meticulously crafting various protective items. There's the familiar glint of gold and silver, the earthy tones of carved stone and faience. You might stop at a stall displaying scarab beetles, their hard shells polished to a sheen. These aren't just pretty trinkets, they represent the sun god Khepri, symbolizing rebirth and protection from evil. You might own one yourself, perhaps worn on a necklace or tucked into your linen tunic, its smooth surface comforting beneath your fingers. Then there are the Ankhs, the symbol of life itself. You see them everywhere, painted on temple walls, held by deities in reliefs, and worn as amulets. It's a powerful symbol, believed to grant vitality and protect against death and decay. You might carry a small Ankh, a constant reminder of life's enduring power in the face of inevitable mortality. It's a subtle reassurance that even in the face of fear, life triumphs. Perhaps you notice a merchant selling Ujat eyes, also known as the Eye of Horus. This distinctive eye, with its falcon markings, is a potent symbol of protection, healing, and royal power. It's said to ward off the evil eye, a malevolent gaze that can bring misfortune or illness. You might have one painted on the bow of your boat to ensure safe passage on the Nile, or even tattooed on your skin for continuous protection. It's an ever-watchful guardian, deflecting negativity before it can reach you. Beyond these well-known symbols, there are countless other charms. You might carry a small figurine of the dwarf god Bees, a grotesque but benevolent deity associated with childbirth, music, and the protection of households, especially against evil spirits and nightmares. His fierce, almost comical, appearance is meant to scare away malevolent entities. Or perhaps you favor a small figure of Taweret, the hippopotamus goddess, protector of pregnant women and children. These aren't just quaint superstitions, they are deeply meaningful talismans, infused with the hopes and fears of generations. Consider the materials themselves. Lapis lazuli, with its deep blue hue, is believed to possess magical properties. Carnelian, a fiery orange stone, is associated with vitality and protection. Even simple clay can be shaped and fired to create protective figures. The belief is that the inherent properties of the material, combined with the sacred act of creation and the specific symbol, amplify the amulet's power. Historians still argue whether the proliferation of amulets reflected a genuine, widespread belief in their magical efficacy, or if they served more as psychological comforts in a precarious world. Were they truly believed to repel demons, or did they simply provide a sense of security for anxious minds? You, however, would feel a profound sense of reassurance, clutching your ankh or touching your scarab. These objects are not merely symbolic, they are active agents in your defense against the unseen, forming a vital part of the protective tapestry that shrouds your daily and nightly existence. When you decide to also place a bulb of garlic near your sleeping mat, you are simply adding another layer of formidable protection to an already elaborate system of defense, recognizing its unique pungency as a powerful addition to your spiritual arsenal. You've surrounded yourself with scarabs and ankhs, the familiar symbols of life and protection. But as night truly falls, and the shadows lengthen, you still instinctively reach for that simple, humble bulb of garlic. Why this particular plant? What is it about garlic, above all other herbs and charms, that grants it such extraordinary mystical potency against the unseen forces that prey upon your dreams? The answer lies in a blend of its physical characteristics and the profound symbolic meanings ancient Egyptians attached to them. First, consider the smell. It's undeniable, isn't it? That sharp, almost acrid aroma that clings to your fingers after you've crushed a clove. For you, an ancient Egyptian, this powerful scent isn't just a culinary quirk, it's a tangible manifestation of the plant's inherent strength. You believe that malevolent spirits, being ethereal and delicate, find such potent odors utterly repulsive. It's like a spiritual barrier, a cloud of protective essence that chokes and repels anything impure or harmful. Imagine a demon, accustomed to the subtle whispers of the night, suddenly confronted with this overwhelming, fiery scent. It would recoil, unable to breach such a formidable aromatic shield. Then there's the shape of the garlic bulb itself. It's a series of individual cloves, nestled together, yet each distinct. This natural segmentation might have been seen as a symbol of unity and resilience, a miniature fortress. Each clove, a tiny bastion of power, collectively forming an impenetrable whole. You might even imagine the concentric layers within a single clove as layers of protection, spiraling inwards to safeguard its core essence. It's a subtle connection, perhaps, but one that resonates deeply within a worldview that finds meaning in every natural form. The very act of its growth also contributes to its mystique. Garlic thrives in the earth, drawing sustenance from the soil, yet it possesses a fiery nature that seems almost antithetical to its humble origins. This paradox, growing from the dark earth yet possessing such potent, hot properties, might have elevated its status. It bridges worlds, the mundane and the magical, the earthly and the ethereal. You might see it as a plant imbued with a spark of divine fire, capable of purifying and expelling. Furthermore, its perceived medicinal properties, which you've explored, undeniably bolster its mystical reputation. If garlic can drive out physical ailments and purify the body, then surely it can drive out spiritual afflictions and purify the soul's resting place. The leap from curing a cough to warding off a nightmare demon isn't a large one when illness itself is often attributed to malevolent forces. The physical efficacy validates the spiritual power. You observe how it helps heal wounds, and you instinctively extend that logic to invisible wounds inflicted by dream spirits. You've heard of the Eye of Ra, the fiery, protective aspect of the sun god. Garlic, with its pungent, almost burning sensation when consumed raw, might have been seen as possessing a similar, fiery energy, a miniature embodiment of that divine wrath directed against evil. This internal heat, you believe, makes it unbearable for the cold, shadowy entities of the night. It's a fundamental opposition: light against dark, warmth against cold, purity against corruption. Historians still argue whether the perceived magical power of plants like garlic developed organically from their observable effects or if a pre-existing symbolic framework influenced how their properties were interpreted. Did the Egyptians first notice garlic's medicinal benefits and then ascribe mystical protective qualities, or did their belief in its spiritual power lead them to experiment with its physical applications? For you, the answer is likely seamless. The physical and spiritual realms are not separate, but intertwined, and garlic exists powerfully in both. You simply know that it works, regardless of the precise philosophical origin of that knowledge. The pervasive belief in its efficacy ensures its continued use. From the highest priest to the humblest peasant, garlic is seen as a universal protector. It's accessible, readily available, and its very nature seems to scream, "Stay away," to anything that seeks to harm. And so, as you place that potent bulb near your head tonight, you do so with a deep, quiet conviction in its unique and enduring power to safeguard your precious slumber from the unseen onslaughts of the dream world. The lingering scent of garlic around your sleeping mat isn't just a passive protection. It's part of a series of deliberate rituals of repulsion you perform to ensure a peaceful night free from nightmares. For you, an ancient Egyptian, magic isn't some abstract concept. It's a practical tool woven into the fabric of daily life, particularly when dealing with the vulnerable state of sleep. You employ specific actions and arrangements, believing that these precise steps activate garlic's protective energies. Imagine the routine as dusk settles. You might first thoroughly clean your sleeping area, sweeping away any dust or debris, symbolic of clearing away negative influences. Then, you carefully select a plump, unblemished bulb of garlic. It's not just any garlic, it's one chosen for its vitality, its perceived purity. You might hold it for a moment, silently infusing it with your intent for protection, your desire for peaceful dreams. The most common practice, and one you certainly employ, is simply to place the garlic near your head as you sleep. This isn't a casual toss. You position it deliberately, perhaps under your headrest or on a small stool beside your bed. The belief is that its potent aroma will create an invisible barrier, a spiritual force field around your most vital point, your head, where your thoughts reside and your ba departs during slumber. You envision the pungent fumes rising, forming an impenetrable wall against any encroaching nightmare demons. You might also observe other, more elaborate rituals. Perhaps you've seen or participated in a practice where garlic cloves are strung together and hung over doorways or windows. This isn't just for general household protection. It's specifically aimed at preventing malevolent spirits, including those that cause nightmares, from entering your home in the first place. The string of garlic acts as a sentinel, its combined aroma a powerful deterrent, forcing any unwanted entity to recoil before crossing the threshold. It's a clear demarcation. This space is protected. Sometimes, garlic might be crushed and rubbed onto specific areas of your body before sleep. This isn't just for medicinal purposes, though that's certainly a secondary benefit. It's a magical anointing, a way to directly transfer garlic's protective essence to your skin, making you personally repellent to harmful dream spirits. The tingling sensation, the sharp smell on your skin, serves as a constant reminder of the protection you carry. You might even feel a subtle warmth, believing it to be the garlic's inherent fire, warding off cold, shadowy intrusions. You might even perform a small incantation or prayer while placing the garlic, appealing to a protective deity like Taweret or Bees to imbue the garlic with extra power. This vocalization isn't just for show, it's believed to amplify the magical effect, focusing your intent and invoking divine assistance. The words are often simple, direct, and filled with your earnest desire for safety. Historians still argue whether the specific rituals were rigid and universal across all of Egypt, or if local customs and individual interpretations led to variations in practice. Were there strict guidelines passed down, or did families adapt the core belief to their own specific needs and available resources? You, as an everyday Egyptian, would likely follow the traditions you grew up with, believing implicitly in their efficacy, perhaps adding your own small touches of personal faith. These aren't just quaint superstitions, they are deeply meaningful actions in a world where the unseen is as real as the seen. Each gesture, each placement of the garlic, is a deliberate act of empowerment, a way for you to assert control over a realm that often feels beyond your grasp. The pungent aroma that fills your sleeping space becomes a comforting scent, a potent reminder that you are actively shielded against the horrors of the night, allowing you to finally drift into a deeper, more secure slumber. As you drift towards sleep, the protective scent of garlic a comforting presence, your thoughts might also turn to something far more profound than just a peaceful night, the afterlife. For you, an ancient Egyptian, the journey after death isn't a vague concept. It's a meticulously planned continuation of existence, fraught with its own set of dangers and trials. And strangely enough, the very same fears that drive you to ward off nightmares in this life, the fear of malevolent entities, of loss of self, of eternal torment, find their echoes in your elaborate beliefs about the journey to the field of reeds. Imagine preparing for your own death. It's not a morbid thought, but a practical one. You meticulously arrange for your tomb, for the rituals, for the offerings that will sustain you in the next world. You understand that just as your ba is vulnerable during sleep in this life, your entire being is vulnerable during the perilous journey through the duat, the underworld. The forces of chaos, the same Isfet that sends nightmares, are far more potent there, ready to thwart your passage to eternal bliss. You've grown up hearing the tales of the underworld, depicted in vibrant tomb paintings and inscribed in the Book of the Dead. You know that you must navigate treacherous paths, overcome monstrous guardians, and recite complex spells to ward off terrifying demons. These aren't just symbolic creatures, they are real threats, intent on consuming your soul, or forcing you to wander lost in eternal darkness. The fear of these entities is a tangible one, not unlike the fear of the nightmare demons that plague your sleep. Consider the role of protective amulets in the afterlife. Just as you wear an ankh in life, your mummy will be adorned with countless charms and spells designed to safeguard your journey. Scarabs placed over the heart, images of the Eye of Horus painted on the sarcophagus. These are the ultimate extensions of the same protective principles you apply to your daily life. The belief is that if these charms work in this life, they will be even more crucial in the next, where the stakes are infinitely higher. The link between nightmares and the afterlife becomes clearer when you consider the concept of being devoured or annihilated. A particularly terrifying nightmare might involve being eaten by a monstrous beast, or losing your sense of self, dissolving into nothingness. These are direct reflections of the ultimate fears associated with the afterlife, being consumed by Ammit, the devourer of the dead, or failing the weighing of the heart and thus ceasing to exist. The nightmares, in a sense, are previews of the cosmic terrors that await the unprepared soul. Perhaps you've seen the funerary papyri, meticulously drawn scrolls that detail the various demons of the underworld, complete with their grotesque forms and the spells required to repel them. These are not merely instructional guides, they are spiritual maps, preparing the deceased for a perilous journey. The same fundamental desire to repel evil, whether in a dream or in the afterlife, drives the creation and use of these powerful protective measures. Historians still argue whether the detailed depictions of underworld demons were a form of psychological preparation for death, helping individuals to rationalize the unknown, or if they truly believed in the literal existence and threat of these entities. Did the Egyptians use these vivid descriptions to process their fear of death, or were they genuinely convinced of a literal struggle against these beings after passing? For you, the two concepts are inextricably linked. the very real terror of a nightmare, the feeling of vulnerability as your ball wanders, directly informs your understanding of the soul's perilous voyage after death. And so, as you pull your linen sheet closer, the faint, reassuring scent of garlic wafting from your headrest, you know that this simple act of protection extends far beyond the immediate peace of your slumber. It's a part of a much larger, continuous effort to safeguard your essence, both now and in the boundless journey that awaits you after your final breath. The fight against chaos is eternal, and even a single bulb of garlic can be a small but significant weapon in that cosmic struggle. You've woken from a nightmare, the lingering shadow of fear making your morning chores feel heavy. But what if, you ponder, you could not only ward off bad dreams but also actively decode dream divination, seeking guidance or foresight within your nocturnal visions? For you, an ancient Egyptian, dreams are not merely random occurrences. They are a language, a cryptic script from the divine or the departed, offering glimpses into the future or solutions to life's dilemmas. And while garlic repels the unwelcome, you might also believe it could subtly enhance the clarity of positive dream experiences, helping you better receive these vital messages. Imagine yourself seeking out a dream interpreter, a master of the secret things. These individuals aren't just reading tea leaves, they are scholars of the subconscious, possessing vast knowledge of dream symbols accumulated over centuries. You would describe your dream in painstaking detail, every image, every emotion, every interaction. Was the Nile flowing with clear water or murky? Did you see a cat or a lion? The specifics matter immensely, as each element carries a precise meaning within the established lexicon of dream interpretation. The Dream Papyrus, which you might have seen copies of, is effectively a dream dictionary. It lists hundreds of dream scenarios and their corresponding interpretations, often categorizing them as good or bad. If you dreamed of seeing a serpent, it might be good if it was docile, signifying prosperity, but bad if it was aggressive, indicating an enemy. Dreaming of your own teeth falling out could be a dire warning of impending death, while climbing a ladder might signify advancement. This intricate system allows for a structured approach to understanding the seemingly chaotic world of dreams. You understand that dreams can provide solutions to practical problems. Perhaps you are an architect struggling with a design for a temple, or a farmer trying to decide the best time for harvest. You might go to sleep with the specific intention of receiving guidance, hoping for a dream that illuminates the path forward. There are stories of pharaohs receiving divine counsel in their sleep, guiding them in matters of state or war. These aren't just fables, they are believed to be genuine acts of communication between the mortal and divine realms. The use of garlic in this context isn't about promoting visions, but rather about ensuring the purity of those visions. If malevolent spirits cause chaotic, misleading nightmares, then a protective agent like garlic ensures that any dream you do experience is clear, undistorted, and genuinely from a benign source. It's less about opening a door and more about cleaning the lens through which you view the divine messages. You don't want static on your spiritual radio. Consider the role of rituals before seeking a prophetic dream. You might cleanse yourself, offer prayers, and perhaps even consume certain herbs believed to aid in mental clarity. While garlic is primarily protective, its association with purification might lead some to believe it also helps clear the mind, making it more receptive to clear, unclouded dream messages. It's a subtle shift from repulsion to enhancement, where the absence of negative influence allows for the amplification of positive reception. Historians still argue whether the elaborate system of dream interpretation provided genuine psychological comfort and insight for the ancient Egyptians, or if it was primarily a tool for maintaining social control through priestly authority. Did it truly empower individuals to understand their inner world and receive divine guidance, or was it a system that allowed the elite to interpret the will of the gods for the populace? You, as an everyday Egyptian, would likely see it as a profoundly useful and valid tool for navigating the uncertainties of life, genuinely believing in the messages you received. So, as you carefully place your garlic, you're not just warding off frights. You're also, in a way, preparing the ground for revelation. You're inviting clarity, hoping that the powerful essence of the garlic will not only banish the specters of chaos but also allow the true, beneficial messages of the dream world to reach you, pure and uncorrupted, ready for decoding. You've heard the tales from the royal court. Even the mighty pharaoh, supposedly a living god, takes precautions against nightmares. And in your humble mud brick home, you too place garlic by your sleeping mat. This demonstrates a crucial aspect of ancient Egyptian society, how beliefs about nightmares and garlic's efficacy permeated all levels of society, from the wealthiest elite to the most common laborer. Superstition, or rather, deeply held spiritual belief, knows no social boundaries. Imagine the pharaoh, resplendent in his regalia during the day, orchestrating grand projects and presiding over rituals. Yet, as night falls, even he is a mortal, susceptible to the unsettling intrusions of the dream world. His palace, though magnificent, is not immune to the malevolent spirits that can cause nightmares. In his royal chambers, beneath the opulent canopy, you might find not just precious jewels and finely woven linens, but also discreetly placed protective amulets and, yes, even bundles of garlic. His dream interpreters would be among his most trusted advisors, their ability to divine meaning from his dreams crucial to the perceived divine mandate of his rule. The stakes for him are arguably higher. A terrifying dream for the pharaoh could be interpreted as a bad omen for the entire land, a sign of divine displeasure that could lead to famine or war. Then, consider the priests and priestesses, the intermediaries between gods and mortals. They are steeped in sacred knowledge, performing elaborate rituals and possessing deep understanding of the spiritual realms. They would undoubtedly be proponents of garlic's protective powers, not just as a folk remedy, but as a component of their established magical practices. You might see them incorporating garlic into temple offerings, or using it during purification rites, further elevating its status and reinforcing its efficacy in the popular imagination. Their endorsement lends immense credibility to its use. Now, shift your gaze to the scribes and artisans, the educated middle class. They are literate, often employed by the state or temples, and likely possess a more nuanced understanding of written spells and magical texts. They would consult papyri describing the properties of various protective agents, including garlic. They might even meticulously copy recipes for protective poultices or dream-warding concoctions that feature garlic prominently. For them, its use is both practical and intellectual, rooted in documented tradition. And finally, consider yourself the farmer, the fisherman, the craftsman. Your life is arduous, dictated by the cycles of the Nile and the demands of the harvest. You don't have access to elaborate charms or highly trained dream interpreters, yet the fear of nightmares is just as real for you. Garlic, being readily available and inexpensive, becomes your primary line of defense. You might learn about its use from your elders, from your neighbors, from the common wisdom passed down through generations. It's a simple, accessible solution to a universal fear. You rely on it, not just because you're told to, but because you genuinely believe it offers a tangible shield against the unsettling terrors that can creep into your sleep. Historians still argue whether the beliefs in magic and superstition were genuinely shared across all social strata, or if the lower classes simply adopted practices endorsed by the elite as a means of seeking solace and control in their challenging lives. Was the pharaoh's use of garlic a sincere belief in its power, or a performance to reinforce his divine connection to the populace? For you, the answer is clear. The fear of unseen malevolence and the desire for peace unites everyone, regardless of their position in the social hierarchy. The pervasive use of garlic, from the grandest palace to the humblest hut, serves as a powerful testament to its perceived effectiveness. It's a unifying element, a shared cultural belief that transcends wealth and status. When you lay your garlic near your sleeping mat, you are not just performing a personal ritual. You are participating in a timeless tradition, echoing the actions of countless Egyptians, from kings to commoners, all seeking the same elusive peace in the vulnerable hours of the night. The belief in garlic's power is universal across ancient Egypt, but what about the practicalities of belief? It's one thing to believe in a charm, another to integrate its use seamlessly into daily life. How did ancient Egyptians ensure a constant supply of garlic for both culinary and protective purposes, and what impact did this widespread reliance have on their agricultural practices and daily routines? Imagine the sheer scale of garlic cultivation. You see vast fields of it, stretching towards the horizon, particularly in the fertile Nile Delta. Garlic thrives in the rich alluvial soil left behind by the annual inundation of the Nile. It's a crop that's relatively easy to grow, requires consistent, though not excessive, water, and offers a good yield. This agricultural abundance is crucial, making garlic accessible to virtually everyone, not just the wealthy. If it were a rare and expensive commodity, its widespread use as a protective agent would be impossible. You might be involved in its cultivation yourself, carefully planting the cloves, weeding the rows, and eventually harvesting the mature bulbs. The process is ingrained in your seasonal rhythm, just like the planting of barley or flax. You appreciate its hardiness, its ability to withstand some of the harsher conditions. This first-hand experience with its growth further solidifies your respect for its vitality and inherent strength. Once harvested, garlic is relatively easy to store. You might braid it into long strings and hang it in cool, dry places, inside your home, in a granary, or even in shaded areas outside. This method of preservation ensures that garlic is available year-round, not just seasonally. This continuous availability is vital for its role as a constant protector against nightmares. You wouldn't want to run out just when the nocturnal terrors are most active, would you? The sheer volume of garlic consumed, both as food and as a protective measure, would have created a significant demand. This demand, in turn, would have supported a robust agricultural sector dedicated to its production. You might see traders specifically dealing in garlic, transporting it up and down the Nile, ensuring that even remote villages have access to this essential bulb. It's a testament to the practical economics driven by pervasive cultural beliefs. Consider the daily routine of using garlic for protection. It's not a burdensome task, but a simple, almost unconscious, act. You take a clove or a small bulb, place it near your sleeping mat, and forget about it until morning. It doesn't require elaborate preparation or significant time. This ease of integration into the everyday routine is a key factor in its enduring popularity. It fits seamlessly into the rhythms of ancient Egyptian life, becoming as natural as lighting your lamp or fetching water from the well. However, historians still argue whether the extensive cultivation of garlic was primarily driven by its culinary and medicinal uses, with its magical properties being a secondary benefit, or if its perceived spiritual power was the primary driver of its widespread growth and consumption. Was the economic engine behind garlic agriculture primarily fueled by its practical applications, or by the demand created by its profound symbolic and protective significance? For you, the two aspects are inseparable. Its deliciousness and healing properties are simply further proof of its inherent goodness and power. The constant presence of garlic in your life, from the fields where it grows to the air around your bed, reinforces your belief in its power. It's not a rare, exotic charm, but a commonplace, accessible protector, interwoven with the very fabric of your existence. Its practicalities, its ease of growth, storage, and daily use, are precisely what allow its profound cultural and spiritual significance to flourish, making it a ubiquitous guardian against the unseen terrors of the night. You've seen the omnipresence of garlic in your own Egyptian society, a trusted guardian against nightmares and illness. But as you travel, perhaps on a trade expedition or simply hearing tales from distant lands, you realize that your belief in garlic's power is not unique. You begin to notice echoes in other cultures, a fascinating testament to garlic's enduring, almost universal, reputation as a protective, potent plant. Imagine a merchant from Mesopotamia, perhaps from the bustling city of Babylon. As you haggle over the price of lapis lazuli, you notice a distinct, familiar aroma clinging to his wares. You ask about it, and he explains that his people also believe garlic wards off evil spirits and sickness. He might describe how Babylonian physicians prescribed garlic for various ailments, echoing your own Ebers papyrus. He might even tell you of cuneiform tablets describing its use in rituals to appease angry gods or dispel curses. The parallels are striking, aren't they? The same strong scent, the same belief in its power to repel. Then, consider the nascent Greek city-states across the Mediterranean. You might hear stories of their athletes consuming garlic before competitions, believing it provides strength and courage. More interestingly, you learn that they too associate it with protection against malevolent forces, particularly in the realm of magic and witchcraft. Hecate, the goddess of magic and crossroads, is often depicted with garlic offerings, a sign of its perceived potency in the face of dark arts. It's not just about repelling, it's about empowerment against unseen forces. Even further afield, towards the vast lands of the Indus Valley, you might hear whispers of garlic being used in their ancient medicinal systems, much like your own. Though the cultural context is vastly different, the core understanding of garlic as a powerful healing and protective agent remains consistent. It suggests a shared ancient knowledge, or perhaps independent discoveries of garlic's remarkable properties that then led to similar symbolic interpretations. You might ponder why this particular plant gained such universal renown. Is it its unique chemical compounds, its potent allicin, which offers tangible health benefits? Or is it something more primal, the sheer force of its pungent aroma and taste that instinctively suggests strength and protection against the subtle, delicate nature of unseen entities? You might lean towards the latter, feeling that inherent fire in the plant itself. Historians still argue whether these widespread beliefs stemmed from a single point of origin, perhaps spreading through ancient trade routes and cultural exchange, or if different civilizations independently discovered garlic's properties and developed similar superstitions due to its distinctive characteristics. Did the Egyptians influence the Mesopotamians, or vice versa, or did both simply recognize something inherently powerful in the plant? For you, seeing these common threads across diverse cultures only reinforces your profound belief in garlic's fundamental, undeniable power. These echoes are not mere coincidences. They speak to a deep, shared human experience of fear and the universal desire for protection. In a world where the unseen was often attributed to malevolent forces, a tangible, accessible, and remarkably potent plant like garlic became a universal symbol of defense. It's a comforting thought, isn't it, to know that your small act of placing garlic by your head is part of a much larger, ancient tradition, connecting you to countless others across distant lands and times, all seeking the same peace and security from the shadows of the night. You've felt the sharp, almost burning sensation of raw garlic on your tongue, and you know its powerful aroma can fill a room, lingering for hours. This isn't just an inconvenience. For you, an ancient Egyptian, the very scent and suggestion of garlic are central to its efficacy as a ward against nightmares and evil spirits. It's a potent, tangible barrier, a psychological comfort wrapped in a pungent cloud. Imagine the subtle sensory world you inhabit. Most everyday scents are natural: the earthy smell of the Nile, the sweet aroma of baking bread, the floral notes from papyrus. But garlic's smell is different. It's sharp, piercing, almost aggressive. This distinctiveness is key. You believe that malevolent entities, being creatures of shadow and subtle deception, are repulsed by such overt, undeniable force. Their existence thrives in darkness and quiet, and a strong, intrusive scent like garlic's shatters that delicate balance. You might imagine a nightmare demon, ethereal and insidious, attempting to glide silently into your sleeping space. But as it approaches, it's confronted by this invisible wall of pungency. The strong odor isn't just unpleasant, it's perceived as a magical deterrent, a kind of spiritual burning sensation that drives them away. It's too loud, too bright, too real for their shadowy forms. The very air around your bed becomes hostile territory for them, forcing them to retreat. The suggestion of its power is also profoundly important. You've been told since childhood that garlic wards off evil. Your parents, your elders, the priests, everyone reinforces this belief. So, when you place garlic by your bed, you're not just performing a physical act, you're triggering a powerful psychological response. The very presence of the garlic, and the lingering knowledge of its protective properties, creates a sense of security that allows your mind to relax. Think about the placebo effect, but ancient Egyptian style. Even if, hypothetically, the garlic had no inherent mystical power, the belief in its power would undoubtedly provide a measure of psychological comfort. Knowing you've taken a proactive step, that you're armed against the unseen, allows you to enter sleep with a sense of control rather than helplessness. This psychological reassurance can significantly reduce the likelihood of anxiety-induced nightmares, further reinforcing the belief in garlic's efficacy. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of peace. You might even perform a little sniff of the garlic before bed, inhaling its potent aroma, almost as a ritual of purification or invocation of its protective powers. That sharp intake of breath, that immediate, undeniable scent, is a visceral reminder of the shield you've erected. It's a direct sensory connection to your perceived defense. Historians still argue whether the efficacy of ancient magical practices, like using garlic, was primarily due to their psychological impact and the power of belief, or if they genuinely possessed a deeper, as yet unproven, spiritual or energetic effect. Was it the tangible properties of the plant, or the strength of human conviction that truly protected the sleeper? For you, the two are inseparable. The power is real because the belief makes it so, and the scent is the undeniable proof. So, as you lay your head down, the faint, yet potent, aroma of garlic filling your senses, you are not just experiencing a smell. You are experiencing a profound sense of protection, a comforting suggestion of safety that allows your mind to quiet, your anxieties to recede, and your dreams to remain untroubled by the lingering shadows of the night. The scent isn't just there, it's working for you, actively repelling the unwanted. You've lived your life steeped in the ancient wisdom of garlic's protective power, a belief passed down through countless generations. But imagine, for a moment, stepping forward in time, far into the future, to a world where science holds sway. In this distant future, people might view garlic's properties through a different lens, subjecting it to modern scientific scrutiny. How would your ancient beliefs hold up to their rigorous testing, and what insights might they reveal about this humble bulb? In this future, scientists would talk about allicin, a sulfur-containing compound released when garlic is crushed or chopped. They would explain its potent antibacterial and antifungal properties, describing how it can inhibit the growth of certain microorganisms. You might be surprised, but also feel a sense of vindication, to learn that your ancestors' observations of garlic treating infections or preventing illness were, in a way, scientifically accurate. They knew it worked, even if they attributed its power to spirits rather than chemical reactions. They might even discuss garlic's antiviral effects and its role in boosting the immune system. For you, this translates directly to its ability to ward off illness spirits or malevolent influences that cause sickness. The modern explanation is simply a more detailed description of the efficacy you already understood intuitively. It's not magic in their world, but biology and chemistry, intricately at play. However, when it comes to warding off nightmares, modern science would offer a different perspective. They would explain that nightmares are often linked to psychological factors, stress, anxiety, trauma, or even physical conditions like fever or certain medications. They might suggest that the belief in garlic's power, rather than its chemical properties, is what provides comfort and reduces anxiety, thereby potentially leading to fewer stress-induced nightmares. It's the power of suggestion, the placebo effect, at work. They might even conduct studies on the psychological impact of rituals, like placing garlic by the bed. They would look at how such actions provide a sense of control and security, reducing hyperarousal before sleep. This doesn't invalidate your belief, but reinterprets its mechanism. Your peace isn't because garlic literally pushes away a demon, but because your belief in garlic's power quiets your anxious mind, allowing for more restful sleep. Historians in this future would still debate the exact interplay between early empirical observations and subsequent mystical interpretations. Did the observed antibacterial properties of garlic lead to its association with repelling invisible, bad things, or did a pre-existing cultural framework of magic and spirits simply assimilate garlic's distinctive qualities into its system? They might analyze ancient texts, trying to parse out the rational from the mystical, always with a respectful nod to the context of your time. When they discussed the pungent odor, they wouldn't talk about repelling demons. Instead, they might delve into its olfactory impact on the human brain, or how specific scents can evoke strong emotional responses and associations. They might even suggest that for some, the strong smell could be a comfort, a familiar anchor, while for others, it could be simply an irritating odor. Despite these scientific explanations, you would likely remain firmly in your ancient understanding. The explanations about molecules and neurons would feel distant, almost sterile, compared to the direct, visceral truth of knowing that the garlic works because it has power. You would still sense the shift in the air when the garlic is present, the subtle energy that repels the shadowy figures of your dreams. Modern science offers a different language, a different way of seeing, but for you, the underlying truth, that garlic protects, remains constant, regardless of the explanation. As the echoes of modern scientific scrutiny fade, you are drawn back to your own time, to the heart of ancient Egypt. You are reminded that despite any future explanations, the enduring legacy of garlic in your culture is not merely about science, but about meaning. It's a legacy woven from countless generations of belief, observation, and the profound human need for security in a world teeming with both visible and invisible forces. Think about the sheer persistence of this belief. For millennia, from the earliest pre-dynastic settlements to the grandeur of the New Kingdom, garlic held its place as a revered plant. It was cultivated, consumed, worshipped, and relied upon. This isn't a fleeting fad. It's a deeply ingrained cultural constant, a testament to its perceived efficacy and its symbolic power. It's not just a plant, it's an institution. You see its legacy in the very language you speak. Perhaps there are proverbs about garlic's strength, or folk songs that mention its protective qualities. These linguistic artifacts ensure that the knowledge and belief are passed down, almost unconsciously, to each new generation. Children are told stories of how it keeps monsters away, planting the seed of belief early, ensuring the tradition continues. The archaeological record also speaks volumes about its enduring importance. When future archaeologists unearth your settlements, they will find remnants of garlic bulbs in homes, in tombs, in temple offerings. These physical traces are silent witnesses to its pervasive role in your daily and spiritual life. They will see the hieroglyphs depicting it, the medical papyri prescribing it, the amulets placed alongside it. It's a persistent thread running through the entire tapestry of ancient Egyptian civilization. Consider the sense of continuity it provides. When you place garlic by your bed, you are performing an act that your ancestors performed for thousands of years. You are connected to a long line of individuals who faced similar fears and found solace in the same simple remedy. This shared tradition, this collective act of faith, creates a powerful sense of community and belonging. You are part of something much larger than yourself, a continuous chain stretching back into the mists of time. This enduring legacy isn't just about superstition, it's about resilience. It speaks to humanity's innate desire to find meaning and control in the face of the unknown. When confronted with the terrifying vulnerability of sleep, with the unsettling reality of nightmares, your ancestors, and you, found a powerful, accessible, and psychologically comforting solution in garlic. It was a tangible anchor in an often unpredictable world. Historians still argue whether the lasting impact of such ancient beliefs is due to their inherent wisdom, however interpreted, or simply the inertia of tradition. Did the beliefs persist because they contained some fundamental truth, or because they were simply too ingrained to be easily discarded? For you, the answer is simple: it works. It brings peace, it brings protection, and that is truth enough. And so, as you finally drift into the soft embrace of sleep, the faint, comforting aroma of garlic a familiar presence, you are not just sleeping. You are participating in a profound, enduring legacy. You are a part of a story that spans millennia, a story of fear and faith, of protection and peace, all centered around a humble bulb that truly holds a remarkable place in the history of human belief. The quiet now settles fully around you, deeper than before. The gentle hum of the fan, if you have it on, seems to soften, becoming one with the faint sounds of the night outside your own space. You can feel your breath slowing, each inhale a smooth, unhurried rise, each exhale a soft, complete release. The images from ancient Egypt, the scent of garlic, the rustle of papyrus, they all begin to fade, dissolving into the peaceful quiet that now envelops you. There's no need to hold on to any specific details now, no need to decipher ancient beliefs or ponder historical debates. Those thoughts simply float away, like tiny boats on a calm, moonlit river, disappearing softly into the distance. All that remains is a growing sense of stillness, a profound sense of ease. You are safe. You are comfortable. The worries of the day, the anxieties of the past, they are no longer here. They have simply drifted. Let your eyelids grow heavy, so incredibly heavy. Feel the gentle pressure of your head against your pillow, the warmth of your blanket. Let yourself sink, softly, deeply, into the quiet, welcoming embrace of the night. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to think about. Just peace. Deep, unending peace.